shots. There was this one clip that I can recall to mind where he was up on the rafters on the defensive side for A, managed to get a penetration shot through hell, and then quickly flicked over to the right. Just G2, they're prepared. They're mentally prepared for this map, but the big question mark is fish123 prepared?
Link has a target right around the corner. It's the jet, the drone, not going to get through the door as it gets shut just in time. So that's unfortunate as they try to use that to lead in. Recon Dart goes down. You can see the spam coming through from Solkus. That's the Sage that's made it up very far. And he turns back around to spot his target. But he'll be falling off. And again, it's a weird round coming in from the attacking side of G2. Oh, the wall just comes in a second too late, so Link will get taken out by Mixwell, who waited for that opportunity so patiently. Scream, back of sight, nice flash coming out. He's got two targets though coming his direction, and the leaping artist proves to be too much to deal with. So the spike should be secured, and the site has been lost here. But the retake is already well underway with bodies already building up in that area. Solkus just sees his teammate go down behind him, and now Pith is there as well. It all falls onto one. It's going to be the Cypher. This round, just very strange with the way that it plays out. G2 putting feelers out across the map, pushing up short all the way past tree room, past the window towards spawn. Then he backs all the way off, goes towards mid and market. Mixwell just waited in B main the whole time. A bit chaotic. And as a result, fish123 were caught off guard across the map at various points. Link, shotgun over towards B, takes out the dart. But the intended push in that area, they decided back off. They had 4 players built up there. It looked like they might actually go for that fast B play. They changed their mind. Look at Cryptix right around the corner with the Bucky. Sees the pistol first, goes for the peak. Second target there. Can't quite get the pulses from that shotgun to connect. And now he's down to 65 HP and stuck in a very difficult position. First shock dart, make it a follow-up. Nothing can be done. So now they'll be moving in with the Aldrone. They'll spot the one right outside of main with the Judge. Eccles can't even port out in time. This defense falling pretty quickly here as G2 look to have another strong round. Yes, they've been brought down to 3 in the meantime, and Scream is still in position, but he's playing the breach with a Marshall. So it's not exactly ideal hardware here for Scream. And with the spam shots coming through, he's going to back off. Continuing to pop shots down towards Hell, looking for the wallbang kill. Can't quite line it up as of yet. The rest of his team still moving into position. So now one more has come through the window, and there's one also coming in on long. That'll be the Sage with the flank. The Tremor coming out from Breach, from Scream himself. Nice shots onto the site from Solkus with the shotgun. There's more currently in Hell. The Judge is going to have to do the dirty work. There's one right around the corner, and the shotgun is perfect for the scenario. fish123 may have lost some bodies earlier on, but they stole the round away here from G2. I need a drop. So, we're all tied up. fish123. They may have lost the pistol, but the force buy with shotguns works out really nicely for them. And that'd be great, considering that their defense in that first half when they played against NIP was absolutely awful. The same, however, could be said for their opponent, who had a similar problem. The dart's going into B main. Link gonna get one as Mixwell gets a little bit too close for comfort. Link gets dropped down low on HP.
It's like I missed. But it does seem to be back in order for me on my end. One frag, of course, already going to kick us off for fish123. And for the side of G2, trying to make sure that this attacker side really goes well for them. And that's important for their success moving on to that second half. We saw how successful it was on Bind. It was a 9-3 finish. And now here, looking to do the same. But so far, fish123 making it very difficult. That force up. Now G2 trying to look for another opportunity towards B. It worked last time on the pistol, but will it work again? As fish123 are denying the push forward. The spray through the HUD actually will take out Solkis. I'm not even sure where Artist was aiming to get that frag, but they open things up with 2 picks, and now fish123, they have to react.
Cryptix has made it up to spawn. Scream is there as well, and as the smoke comes down, the dark cover doesn't pop quick enough. This will be a solid move, as there is one right around the corner that flushes him out of position straight into Eccles' aim. The pulse is coming out from the ult from Artis, end up working out for at least one. Through the smoke goes David P. Does great damage to Eccles, but afraid to repeak because there is 2 targets there. Now he's moved over towards lane, and there's not much that Eccles can do about that one. It's all up to Cryptix here with the Phantom in the 1-on-2, down to 39 HP. They're both behind the default box. Good double peek coming out from G2. So back and forth we go.
Yeah, and G2 keeping it alive, but at the end of the day, we did see fish123 buy maybe too many weapons in some of these early rounds, and now you'll see only Scream. Of course, he was able to save that weapon, taking that Phantom to the next round. Link, the only one able to buy probably an actual full setup, and he actually will invest into it. It's the complete force up here for the side of fish123, so losing this round would be very scary. But on the opposite side, the economy doesn't really look quite great for G2 either. We're seeing 2 Spectres come out while the rest of the team able to really afford those brand new Jordans on the first day of school. Those assault rifles will be quite handy in the engagement that's about to occur. It's the A side push. They're looking for an aggressive move in. Eccles, unfortunately, he was looking for the judge play, but he'll be dealt with quite quickly. Cryptix, one of the last points of contact as he's being flooded, won't even find the quick trade. And another round not going the way of fish123.
Nice shock dart coming out from Solkis. It was kind of a fadeaway shot, and it works out nicely. The ult being popped as well. The Hunter's Fury couldn't find that second pulse after connecting initially. Good damage dealt here by fish123, as now the spike goes down. Link's got a line of sight through this wall, and he can actually just walk right around it. And as he tries to peek, he'll end up taking significant damage through the edge of the wall. The recon dart looking to give away some positions. Scream spraying through that smoke. Can't actually hit as the generator is in the way. It comes down to 1 on the site against 1 over towards long, and it's David P. It's exactly who you want in that scenario. He'll survive the round, but it's a brutal round for G2 to win, as he's the sole survivor. And it was Solkis with a shotgun who did all the dirty work.
To be quite honest, it was very rough for both teams there. Fish123 will have a look at the scoreboard just to give us the information on what the weaponry looks like. But considering how close these are, we're really waiting for one team to pull away. And despite G2 winning now 2 back-to-back, that does not mean that they are out of the woods quite yet on the economy front. It is still fish123 that are forcing up. We're seeing a Bucky here on the side of Eccles. We'll see if he ends up using it. But it's a big question mark as to how the economy, where it will go and for who it will go to. A lot of Buckies on the side of fish123, and we'll see if that ends up being quite helpful or fruitful for them, as 2 picks from David P tell us, nope, not going to be the case. And now the rest of the team will start to funnel in towards the A site.
Scream holding back a bit with the Marshal, realizing this round is very much lost. So you can see the aggressive play coming out from David P. Of course he's going for it. Why wouldn't he? He's just that kind of player. He wants the kills. Mixwell's thirsty for it too. The last 2 for the defense currently deep in mid, and Pith is going to be the first to spot them out. The shotgun actually does great damage to Pith. He's down on 13 HP. The tripwire slows down Link, but he's still there with the Sheriff. He'll upgrade to the Phantom.
Uh-oh.
But it's only got 10 bullets left. Does he have the... he doesn't have the time to reload. So doesn't even convert onto 1, and they'll go ahead and upgrade anyone who is lower on the totem pole with the buy. It will be another round for G2 here on the attack. This is exactly what we saw, though, in that series between fish123 and NIP yesterday. It was a very attack-sided map for those 2 teams, and I would anticipate the same to be the case here.
You know, and I actually tend to agree with you, considering how we've seen teams in the North American region make this map really feel attacker-sided. But statistically speaking, it tends to favor the defense, which is quite interesting when you see teams such as G2 and in the North American region such as T1 really make this map look and feel very attacker-sided. And we probably can just chalk it up to playstyle as fish123 get a little bit aggressive on their own front, and will take out an early pick from G2.
The ult coming through from Mixwell. And Dice is linked to pieces. Same could be said for Cryptics. Goes up inside the dark cover. Eccles is like, okay, that's enough of that. And as a result, it's now down to 1. It's the Omen. T-Tech, he's on site. Goes for the dark cover towards spawn. Decides to just hide inside of it. Gonna port past. He walks a little bit too far up. Gets spotted as the barrel starts to poke through. So doesn't really work out so well for him in the 1v3. Realistically speaking, it wasn't destined to begin with. While we saw some really impressive plays from Kriya as the Omen with some aggressive ports, we haven't necessarily seen the same from anyone else. If I'm being honest, I think Kriya is the best Omen that we saw in this event. Eccles, he doesn't play it poorly, just not the same way. And the same could be said on the opposite side. For Petitek, yeah, he's great with his aim, but it was like that aggressive positioning. Really utilizing the full extent of the agent was what made Kriya so good. It's a shame he's obviously not playing at this point, because otherwise we'd get to see a little bit more of it.
Honestly, I think he's the best Omen in the world. I'm just going to go ahead and say
I'm inclined to agree with you.
Yeah.
You know, it's very rare we see Omens elsewhere that would play that level of play.
We are seeing G2 poised for this round around the middle. Have gained the control, and now Catwalk will be their next target of affection here as they will group up together, and Link is ready with a wall, and that'll stop the push dead in its tracks as the other team may be missing that communication. It's only Pith who really pushes forward, and he's like, guys, where are you? They've already pulled off and head towards the fruit market. They'll get caught by a tripwire. G2 really just scattered this round, not able to really communicate well, and we saw that communication in earlier in the show, how it's a mixed team. You know, the shots aren't being called by one specific person, and in that case, we really felt it with Pith taken out early.
Quick shot coming out from Mixwell onto Eccles with the operator, but the spike, it's going over to a different side of the map. So again, they'll move up towards short. You've got two currently playing defense here. You've got Link and you've got Scream. Scream goes down almost instantaneously to David B. The Sage v Sage battle goes the direction of fish123. Great shots coming out from Link, as well as Mixwell will go down and result in a 2-on-2. Nice res also coming out on Scream to give them the numbers advantage in the retake.
There's going to be the Hunter's Fury from what I assume is Artis. He's going to try to get a couple of tags and maybe even look for a frag. And quite honestly, if he got that there, that would have been huge, because they would have nullified the res, but they don't in this case. Artis now having to reposition just down to one final player. It's Petitek. And as he peeks through the archways, it's Solkus that'll take him down. fish123 keeping this one close. It's 3-4, and there aren't many gun rounds left, I feel like, for G2 to really start to find momentum. And so this quote-unquote attacker-sided map where G2 can really thrive is not looking so good as we had anticipated it might be.
The thing about those rounds, though, that you're seeing won by fish123, all of them are post-plan. You'll notice 3 spike plants coming in from G2. They are consistently getting site control. So fish123 is having a hard time stopping them getting onto the sites. This should be maybe one of the first opportunities for them to do that, given the way the buy looks coming in from G2. I mean, it's like shotguns and pistols. It's far from ideal. Scream, for whatever reason, continues to see a peeking David P through the B connector. Kind of curious as to what the reason was for that constant challenge. Onto the site they go, though. Cryptics comes up empty-handed against the pistols. Eccles has to be careful as well. He doesn't want to peek out too close with that operator, as the pistols can unleash a flurry of bullets towards that direction. So yet again, site control, spike planted for G2. And there's another kill coming in as well. Like, this is problematic right now if you're fish123.
Yeah, and really the biggest problem that I personally find is that if fish123 are able to find these retakes, it's because the post plant is difficult for G2 to get into a comfortable position. We're seeing that here. Artis, he's like, where am I going? Where are we? Link finds 2. Is there no communication to say that there's one fragging from behind? The entire team was looking up towards heaven, and Link was just like, okay, I'm going to line up my crosshair a little to the left, a little to the right. He took a sweet time to get those frags, and that'll be us tying up here 4-4 for fish123. Kind of weird for the post plant for G2.
Link getting ready with a deep orb coming out. Just to yet again, these rounds. G2 just consistently getting onto the site. They got to work on how they hold the site after that fact. But the full buy will come in from both teams. Scream wants to get a little aggressive towards long. There's that shock dart we've seen a couple of times come out from the attacking side. It's a couple of ricochets and it lands right inside the arches. Will do significant damage if you're going for an aggressive peek. And also will take out tripwires if you have tripwires there as a cipher. So really good play coming out from Artist to try to potentially dent someone up to start the round. The Aldrone getting flashed as it makes its way through. Scream's going to change positions as the Aldrone dies just outside the window. Scream, speaking of the window on the other side of the glass, currently looking through, seeing if anyone's going to come that direction. Causes a weird coloring effect on that dark cover, which is interesting, but he'll be backing off as they continue to gather up control of grass. They've made it up pretty far. Once they go ahead and break that glass, Eccles is done for.
Yep. You called it, but still it's Scream that is there from behind. They maybe did not anticipate the push-up up the ramp. And still that spike likely going to go down any moment now. They're going to plant what looks like to be in a new position. Not really behind the generator. And that might be the call for the post plant. You know, they've struggled with it before. Maybe that angle is better for them in holding down that spike. As they get into an engagement with Patitek, they help Scream push up forward, and now it's the man advantage. It's the 4v3. Mixwell in a great position. Shot's going to be clean, and still, I don't know if they closed that door before, but it's still wide open for the defense to funnel in. Regardless, they will funnel in from heaven. And as one, they will get picked off one at a time. Artist gets the penetration from what it looks like to be the wall there. He shoots in from long. Mixwell has a clean shot, and it's just down to Solkus. He drops down. Finally, a great post plant for G2, but really, I just think it was fish123 walking in one at a time and being just taken out easily.
That's what we needed to see from G2. Much better in the post plant. That consistent site control finally works out nicely for them. There's still money left, though, for the defense. Fish123 can fall back onto a little bit of cash. That will include the operator. This time, though, it looks like Link is going to carry it, so not giving it over to Eccles, who's consistently been the op player for the side of Fish123. But there's the deep flash coming in from short by Eccles. We've talked about that flash before. The paranoia can lead them in. Link with a nice shot, making a follow-up as well onto David P. through the smoke, no less. That spammed in chat for that one, as we've got ourselves at a 5-on-3, very early advantage coming in from Fish123.
G2 have worked with a lot less before and still can at least try to turn things around. May decide to save the weaponry, but with a minute left on the clock, if they just take these frags one at a time, they can really find themselves in a great place. But Solkus, little does he know, that was probably the best read on the recon bolt that he's had, as now the rest of Fish123 will start to pull off of this A site, and G2 still waiting patiently for an opportunity to push forward, and that opportunity is slowly starting to come and go. So Mixwell will get into this back corner, and the rest of his team will funnel up through the middle, likely going to go towards that fish market, but Eccles is there waiting with the Bulldog. A quick shot onto Mixwell really tells us that this round is going to start to fall apart one frag at a time.
Artist patiently waiting right around the corner, but the time ticking down lower and lower. He'll at least get the first, and now he wants to try and just find a better spot to hold on to this weapon if possible. It was great work coming out from Link with the operator. And again, at times we've talked about it. Eccles with the op, he's not bad. It just doesn't seem to click. It doesn't seem to work. Again, he's the IGL playing the Omen, which is a role that's maybe a little bit newer to him. And he's also the op player. So it's kind of like a little bit awkward. A word I would use is ham-fisted. It just doesn't seem to work. Whereas Link just illustrated how good he can be with the op. So maybe it's time to offload that responsibility over to Link, as he got things started strong in the round. 13-6 currently for Link, top of the scoreboard here as the Sage, keeping the scoreboard tied up. A promising first half coming in from Fish123, and you might be saying, yeah, but it's only 5-5. I think this map might be decided. Well, based on what we saw from them yesterday against NIP, their halves were definitely attack-sided in that series alone, so I'm looking to that series as a bit of a sampler for what we should expect to see from fish123 in that second half.
And quite honestly, there's only 2 rounds that remain, including this one, as we'll start to see it go the way of fish123. An early pick from Cryptix as they'll start to push forward, but it's Mixwell. He slices, he dices, he finds 2 frags, but at what cost? His teammates, they're falling all around. It's just Artist that last remains in the 1v3. Has the Hunter's Fury available. Likely not going to use it here, but that spike is down. Sees the 1 peek behind the generator, and now as he's flashed, he stays close left. Cryptix with the 4K on the round. A great hold from fish123. A lot of utility spent, but it does look like we could potentially see a 7-5 finish here for fish123, who've really done a great job in some of these scenarios, either A, retaking, or B, that first hold that went really well.
So we come into the final round of the first half. Fish123. I want to give them credit because they're looking so much better, but at the same point in time, G2 has very consistently gained site control. They've just really struggled.
Well, that was interesting. Both trying to fight for orb control, and quite honestly, a lot of utility spent to gain that control. We're now seeing G2 poised towards Catwalk, and Eccles, he'll be in a little bit of trouble as now they'll start to swing one at a time. Finds one, but it's Scream there with 2, will deny the push forward into the Dream Room. And now it's just down to Artist once again. The rolling red carpet is going to come out, and Scream peeks down A long. We'll find that frag onto Artist. 7-5 prediction comes through, and now it's the pistol for G2. They really need to start to think and start to wonder, how are we going to defend against fish123? We've seen them before play with the fakes, really throw their opposition for a loop, usually off of the back of somebody like Eccles. And sometimes he'll be paired up with Link. They will just push together. And on the opposite side, you'll see Scream leading the charge towards whatever site they decide to choose for. So 7-5, of course, the scoreline that we are moving on into the second half, and it'll revolve around a lot about the pistol and how we will see these rounds really develop. And so, of course, the round begins. fish123 poised quite heavily towards that B site, but still those feelers on the pistol. We'll see how that ends up for them as they are now preparing for a look into the courtyard. No one, of course, there except Mixwell. He's waiting close towards the pizza side. And now waiting for an opportunity to at least see if anyone peeks through. The slow orb going down, a lot of smokes too. Pre-fire shots here coming in from David P. Just sending a quick message. So far, nothing for fish123.
That was weird. My whole internet just like, I don't even know, for like not even a minute. It just like disappeared for a second and then came back. But I still could go to some websites. It was like my DNS just died. Regardless, here comes the push towards the site. Artist goes to the burst fire for the first shot. It fans out and doesn't do as much damage as you would expect. Still able to win that 1v1, but Scream is there for the immediate trade. So it's a 4-on-4. Spikes found its way towards the site and going down inside the muck of that B site. Scream gets peeked by Mixball, starts to spam through the dark cover. They've got lane control and they've got stairs control as well. They've made their way into the house where they can trigger the door, and you can see the leaping target trying to dodge the shots coming through the wall. Paranoia into the site. Camera gives away their positions. They start to move up closer. Cryptix from back behind the default box, not able to do much, and it comes down to Scream here, trying to get through the door, but the spike's already being stuck, and it's looking like it's going to be around here for G2. There's just too much in his way to stop him from getting back in. Scream, with the great shots, finds a 4K, but at that point, the round was already lost, and G2 pick up the pistol.
I think at that point they're just like, yeah, whatever, Scream, do what you want to do. I think I saw David P at one point. He was looking through the archway and he's just like, what do I do here? But now looking forward, of course, we do have the scoreboard again. We have managed to maneuver our way around the bug, and while it does look like G2 are on attack, they are in fact not. They are on the defensive side, and of course, fish123 are attacking. So we'll see how these rounds start to pan out, and for a great start on the pistol for the side of G2, let's see if that momentum continues, because fish123, they might start to come online very soon.
Here we see them just playing slow right now with the SMGs that they've brought into play. Obviously, yet again, it's a force buy. This is what we've seen consistently, most specifically on this map. We see force buys on this map in more than we see, I feel like, in any other map in that second round. And I may but just be talking out of the back end of my body, but I feel like that's the thing. I feel like we've seen it a lot this tournament where teams have felt compelled to go for that second round force on the attack. Obviously, more often when they get that spike plant in the first round. Some smokes going down on B has pushed some weight in that direction. Pith has to pop the cyber cage as there's targets right around the corner, and they're just going to pour through. First one's going to be his. Super low on HP, decides to go to the sidearm. He's got support from Mixwell, but both players will go down in the end. It's a 3-on-2, and they're going to get that spike over towards the site.
Spike, of course, going to be going down, and while I was really questioning whether some of these force-ups ended up in wins for the side of fish123, and we're seeing now before our eyes that in a lot of cases it does work. This is the second time that we've seen it really bode well for them, as G2 are struggling to really deal with that force up. They've got to come in with the weaponry too. No longer can you just hold on to a ghost in the second round and hope to buy an operator on the third. You got to get involved. You got to get active. But how can you read that? You can't. You can't anticipate the opposite team either pistoling or forcing. And so fish123 constantly bringing it to their opposition, and it nets them around, and that will continue their lead.
So they stretch their lead back to 2 rounds. Artis just sitting back behind the detonation radius and then diving in as it retreats for safety. What does the buy look like for G2 here? Because Artis has a Phantom, so he spent a significant amount of money coming into that second round. But the rest of the team's money, it should be a little bit rough. But I wouldn't be surprised to see another force buy. The back and forth, yeah, there you go. So there's a little bit of extra power brought to the round. You've got the shotgun, you've got the SMG, and there's another shotgun coming into the mix as well. This is what you expect to see in these next rounds, and I might go back and forth for a while if they continue. I love the paranoia peak. It doesn't really help out Artis at all, but because he has the full rifle there, the Phantom, it ends up resulting in success. David B has to come all the way across the map and meet him in the middle to try and get the heal through. Scream with a dink shot received will convert in the 1v1 and bring things to a 4-on-4.
I think Scream has one of the most insane reaction times of any player. How many times I've seen him peek and just directly move his crosshair towards where it needs to be? In that instance, I think if it was any other player, Mixwell wins that. He at least gets one, and then he gets traded. But Scream's like, yeah, no, I'm not letting you do that. I'm not letting that happen. So while at close range, still manages to get the kill onto Mixwell, and now the rest of the team pushing forward together. Eccles, of course, not a part of the conversation anymore. Oh yeah, sorry, he still is. It was the Sova on the opposite side. Solkis that ends up falling, and now they'll push forward. David P waiting close down below. It's a great cross set up by Artis, but they're still waiting to jump in. It's a great positioning, but David P, he's hesitant on the trigger, and now Artis with 4 on the round. The Phantom that was brought in pays in tenfold as they win a round against fish123.
And yep, back and forth we go. More money being spent here from fish123. Not really a surprise there. Scream didn't even hesitate. Instantly locked on that Phantom. And he's like, I'm not giving up this round. There is no way we are letting them tie things up here. 18-10 from Scream. 14-9 for Link. Again, we talked about it. Link, outside of that Sage roll, feels awkward. Scream didn't really have a great map in the last map. Here he's playing fantastic as the Breach. So that bind setup, we had talked about it yesterday as well, kind of a little bit awkward for them. Now, though, it's working out nicely as they've gone back to that comfortable territory. High cam coming in, but there's the rolling thunder towards the A site. Surprise, there's actually no one playing defense on A currently. They're back further, so they'll be able to get onto the site, potentially free of charge. Now, Pith will peek out and sprays through to get one, at least towards the door, but the wall goes up, the dark cover is in, and the spike will be planted. And we've got ourselves at a 5-on-4 here. fish123 has site control, and you can see the Sage is right around the corner. Heal going out as well to try and bring everyone back to full HP.
Oh, wow. Solkus right through the floor. It's the recon bolt that spots Mixwell, and then he capitalizes on that information. They'll still try to push forward by the defense, but now it's just down to Scream. And all the last that remains is Eccles. He's got to swing around this wall. He does so, but it's Artist that's prepared with a spray from the Phantom. And now G2, they tie us up. We thought about this attacker side for fish123, and so far, I mean, they get the spike down in a lot of these instances, but G2, they're great on the retake, and they really punish fish123 there. So now on the pistol, this could be a potential round lead for G2.
What do they do on the side of fish123 as well? Just looking at the buy that's coming in. Look, we got that worm with the cane and the top hat again.
Mm.
What do you do if you're on the side of fish123? Because you're like, oh, come on, man. Like, we just went back and forth trading force buys. You know there was a conversation, at least for a moment, where they're like, should we do it again? The thought for now, no. Let's save. Let's wait until we can full buy. Yes, we might lose the round and give G2 the lead, but it's better for us to go that direction than to continue down this path and potentially lose it and also be worse for wear. So you can see the likes of fish123 grouping up currently in B main. You've got a couple of bodies there. David P going to lay the wall down. I think he wanted to play on top of that one, but it doesn't go as far back into B as he had hoped. So as he tries to back off and find an angle, he'll drop off the wall, but it still does section off B main for the time being.
And that's really where fish123 are all held up, still waiting for the opportunity to push in. And sometimes I'll see teams either they'll wait for that utility to dissipate and really leave a question mark for the opposition. And that's what we're seeing. This distraction by Solkus is causing a lot of confusion for G2. They pulled off members from B, and then now they pull back. They're just a little undecided where are the opposition going to go. This is obviously not a spy cam that we're looking at. We're just looking at a different angle. But now the Hunter's Fury going to come in from Artist. He's going to tag one, and little does he know, he might find a little bit more than he bargained for. He'll find one as the rest of G2 will decimate the opposition that are moving forward. Unfortunately for fish123, it's only pistols in their hands. But G2 do not lose a single member, which they can at least feel good moving forward with the weapons that they have.
Starting to get a little bit scary right now for fish123. As you know, we expected to see a lot from them on their attack side, but we might not get to see so much if G2 find just a few more rounds and close things out. This is a huge round in this half, as fish123 need to start moving forwards with a solidified attack plan, an attack strategy that will allow them to not only gain site control, but also hold it after the spike goes down, a problem that their opposition had in that first half. Artist from distance taking out Eccles, who went towards Catwalk. A Cat Peek coming in as well, but Scream somehow lives a little while. He's down to 33 HP, and he's trying to get out of that position. He's trapped behind the box, but there's no one currently peeking. He's just hopeful that he can wait for now and potentially get some help. I think they're going to throw down a Cyber Cage potentially to try to get him out. Yeah, they do. So they send the Cyber Cage down from the Cypher. The heal's going to come through as well from the Sage, and that'll put things at a 4-on-4. And Scream looks like he kind of wants to stick back around towards mid, but he's going to be heading towards spawn. There's the res coming in onto Eccles, who is deep on Catwalk. It's a great move coming out from fish123. A nice response to the early damage that was dealt by G2.
I'm quite surprised that David P hasn't healed Mixwell yet. I'm pretty sure that's why he hasn't been signed yet by G2. Just holding on to that heal. But maybe he doesn't have it, so I'm not going to fault him there if the cooldown's cooking. fish123, they've got Solkus, who's ready with the distraction towards the A side. But G2, they're still split twice on both sides. Solkus trying to clear out anyone who may be hovering around that A side. But David P, he sees an army pushing in towards the B side. It's the Aftershock that pushes him even further back. And now Mixwell is going to need to get here in time quite quickly as David P's all on his lonesome. How many can he get? Finds one so far, but can he find the second? That'll be the best translation there. He'll find two. Can he find the third? Cannot. It's Scream. But how long will the team survive here for the side of fish123? Solkus now incredibly late on the rotation as it's just down to the defense. The Mixwell swing will work out well for him. And as Solkus peers into the site, it's Pith that is ready with the cross. Spike, of course. Did it even go down? I think it went down, but it'll be diffused by G2, and now they'll have the 2-round lead.
G2 Looking strong currently. It's a little concerning right now if you're fish123 or a fan of the roster, as they've won 4 rounds in a row. And unlike what we saw from G2, site control hasn't necessarily been as easy to come across. So what do? A little bit of aggression coming out from David P, peeking in towards B main. The cam gets taken down as the slow orb lands. It'll push them back just a bit. David P shows no signs of slowing down, and that's going to result in his death potentially. The flash coming out. He almost gets away somehow, but accidentally slows himself down in the attempt to reel back towards the B site. So a man advantage here for fish123 early, and they take out David P, who's been a strong performer statistically and as the Sage. That means they lose that wall, and they lose the heal as well.
Patizek, though, will be one of the first contact points alongside Pith towards this A side. They've got Tripwire set up with that recon bolt, about to make it very difficult. As how do you react? There's a red carpet being rolled out, but the paranoia is at least a decent answer, but still they will lose one in the process. It's Scream that pushes forward. Mixwell, he's ready on the side. Patizek is not alone in this battle, as Mixwell will provide the firepower at a distance as he pulls back towards Heaven with Artist. 1 kill coming in from Patizek, looking for the second, looking for the third. Patizek, yes! G2 defend yet another push, and that'll be round 11 for G2.
That is an absolute backbreaker for fish123. That is a brutal round to lose. You have the Rolling Thunder pop by Scream, and I'm pretty sure he kills Pith in sight while he's mid-air, popped up from the Rolling Thunder above the default boxes. And yet still, the round goes to G2. A fantastic retake, all triggered by the Omen play. There's not much that you can do at this point. G2 is rolling towards that finish line. fish123 continue to fight, but they just cannot seem to find the weakness. Even when they're getting on the site, it's similar to that first half, whereas G2's retakes that have been few and far between in the second half thus far, because fish123 haven't necessarily gotten onto the site as much. But it's those retakes that are just too strong to deal with. Aggression coming out yet again, and it is punished. As there's trades going in both directions, we'll have one player who's currently sitting on the sidelines. Link is pushed up mid towards Market. Mixwell doesn't even see it coming, so assassinated by the Sage. But there's another kill coming out from Artist, who's spamming away. He's got some support coming in from the Omen as well, and it's another one! Brings it down to Eccles with the Bulldog. Backside of Market, gunned down by Biff. That's 12 rounds now for G2, 1 away from taking the series and being crowned champions.
G2, if you're in the chat, Patizek needs a raise. He needs a raise. He needs...
Not the agent.
Not the agent. He needs a raise. More money on his salary cap. Give this guy some... where he pulls performances out of nowhere. He's not even top fragging at this point. It's Artist that has been there finding these last-second frags and sometimes 2, 3, and 4. But now Patizek has come alive on this defensive side, and he's really pulling G2 to the end here. This could be the last and final round for fish123.
It's an early advantage, at least, for fish123. Somehow it works out nicely for them. And there's David P, though, chiming in with 3 of his own. David P with a solid defense, but it's a bounce back coming in from fish123. Don't count him out of it yet, as they found themselves in a 2-on-2. But as I say that, Scream tries to flash and gets gunned down through the wall. It's all up to Solkus, the Sova, to keep things going. First peak not going to be his. It will be G2, your champions here of the WePlay Valorant Invitational.
Yeah, you hate to go out that way. Really have